So, a very warm welcome to all you wonderful educators out there. This is me, Sandeep Gulati, the founder of Universal Mentors Association, welcoming all you wonderful educators on the BrightCHAMPS present Talking Education series. We're talking education live to you on three platforms, that is Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So, it's the fourth season of this amazing series that we are hosting, and some of the stellar educators out there are participating in this amazing webinar series of ours. We already had a participation of close to 150 odd educators across the last two seasons, and I'm very glad to inform you all that we are reaching out to close to 70, 75 odd registrations for this amazing webinar as well. So, without further ado, let me just quickly give you a glimpse of what BrightChamp actually does. BrightChamps is a global edtech company that delivers STEM accredited next gen life skills, learning to school students through entrepreneurship, coding, financial literacy, robotics, and communications. Backed by industry experts such as GSV Ventures and Premji Invest, they are currently operating in 30 plus countries, including India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, the US, Canada, the UK, and the UAE. In India, BrightChamps aims to enhance school education by providing the 21st century skill based education within the school ecosystem, and are working with 100 plus schools already across the country. So, without further ado, such a wonderful panel that we have. I'll not take much of your time and quickly introduce you to our stellar of a panel today. uh, we have with us the moderator. I would like to introduce her the first, Miss Sunayana Thota, who's the sales manager of Bright Champs. Sunayana tumala Sun- Sunayana Thota is a driven professional with a background in business administration, holding a bachelor's degree with a diverse career spanning over 2 years. She has gained experience in various fields, including teaching, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. Overseeing operational processes and excelling in B2C sales, and currently serving as a sales manager, where her primary focus is on B2B sales. So, welcome, uh, Miss Sunayana Thotamam, for this amazing session. Now, without further ado, let me come to our wonderful panel today. We have Dr. Aparna Seebaluck, who's the principal of KR Mangalam World School, Gurgaon, a very renowned school in Delhi NCR region. We welcome Dr. Aparna. We have with us Dr. Anju Mehrotra, who's the director principal of Kalka Group of Institutions. Anju ma'am has been a really inspirational figure, especially for Universal Mentors Association. Have a wonderful school in South Delhi. I've been to her school. It's a treat to the eyes. Welcome to
हाँ
the
मैं
panel,
करती
ma'am.
हूँ आपको आधे घंटे बाद है ना बाहर हूँ
Then
तो
we have Mr. Sanjay Aggarwal, who's the principal of M.R.Senior Secondary School, Jhajjar. We also have with us Dr.John Abraham, who's the head of school, Amber Valley Residential Schools, Chikmagalur. Welcome to you, sir. Dr. Pramila Gupta, who's the manager of VSPK International School, Rohini. One of the most renowned school in the north side of Delhi NCR. We have with us Director Nikita Bhati, who's the MBBS. Uh, she's also a director of the Ummed International School, Abu Road, Rajasthan. We'll soon be joined by Dr. Sarada Chandrasekaran ma'am, who's the academic director of Whitefield Global Schools, Bangalore. So we have our audience, spread across pan India. We have a lot of educators who are from the north and also from the south of the country. And special mention to the participation at from the Rajasthan group as well. So, without further ado, we have almost all the panelists apart from Dr. Sharda Chandrasekaran, ma'am. She'll soon be joining in. Miss Sunaina, I'll leave this wonderful panel in your good hands. I believe we have a very interesting topic. We are talking about, innovation and financial literacy, fostering economic independence, I think one of the most sought out topics these days. So, Miss Sunayana, off you go, and the stage is all yours. Thank you so much for this amazing session. I'll join you once the discussion comes to an end.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, for the wonderful introduction and laying out very good platform for us. So, first of all, everybody, good evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this panel discussion on a topic of immense significance in our rapidly changing world: innovation and financial literacy, fostering economic independence. So, today we have gathered here as a panel to discuss how innovation and financial literacy will act as two pillars for any individual who's wanting to achieve economic independence. So without any further ado, I would like to start with my concerns or the questions or the topics of the discussion of today. So I would like to start with Dr. Pramila ma'am. So good evening ma'am, it's so
Good
nice to
evening.
meet you.
Thank you so
So
much.
yes. So as we all know that, the first knock for us was the NEP 2020, where these skill sets have been mentioned for the first time, right? So as it says, like students should have a holistic environment in schools for education, and how important it is for us to pander our attention towards financial education. So my first question for you is, what are the key challenges you have encountered in fostering financial literacy and innovation in your school, ma'am? And how have you addressed these challenges?
Moreover, it's a very good question you have to ask me. In my view, only 17 states are providing financial educations in a school around. That is the biggest challenge. Ki every school should start with the financial schemes or financial literacy programs in our school, and government will also support to us, right? And this of them, we give them a good exposures to our children before they have to leave our school. They should be knowledge to convince, and they know the more the value of money, where have to be they have make a budgeting, and they have to be spent where they have to want to these items or skill should be enhanced in their education. And in my schools we are doing like this. We have give making them a 10 people, 10 children of a group of children, and give them exposure. They have given up just a master blasters good ideas, and they have present to in our any exhibitions to exhibit with their parents to be a sale their products in front of them. And best education is that we have to give them a financial entrepreneur, give them a last who has been the biggest sale product, and we give them advance in a incentive checks to them. And moreover, one of the things in these days, we people, children are not give them a good exposure at home. They also don't know what they have to be doing in their homes, and their parents are challenging in a financial. They don't have a exposures to give them a talks with them a groups. If they have a, some funding problems, they have to discuss with their children. So they came then on a knowledge from the grassroots. They can make them issues how to we can improve our parents, and we can be saving and budgeting and everything. In my view, increasing financial literacy is not just in the best interest of individuals. We all benefit from a more literate populations.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable insight. I hope, and I mean, rightfully we started where our main stakeholders, the parents, they should be educated as well. And that was a
Yeah.
very valid point from your end. Thank you so much. So, with that note, I would like to extend my question towards Dr. John Abraham, sir. So, in
Yeah,
your experience, what is the role of partnerships with financial institutions or local businesses in promoting financial literacy and innovation within the school environment?
good evening to everyone. And thank you for this question that you have asked me. I come from a residential school. Uh, so with regard to residential school, what are the things that we are, introducing and what we are doing at present? So before I start, I just wanted to bring to everyone's notice, I think everyone is aware about it. The Alexander Great, when he happened to say, when he dies, when he is put in the coffin, He wanted his hand to be kept out of the coffin, to let the world know that he came, he conquered, but he doesn't take anything back when he's going. So that has said that it doesn't mean that whatever we get, we have to, spend it. So we have to teach our kids. The main thing is saving, the value for the money. Money has a language, and if you don't understand the language of the money, I think we are slave to economics. So how do we teach the language of money? So we tell, when I was a student, I was a student of Kendriya Vidyalaya. We had something called as Sanchayaka. Sanchayaka is every student have to save money. It started in the account of every child's name. I'm talking about way back 1980s, 90s, when I was a student. Every Kendriya Vidyalaya had a Sanchayaka where the child goes and deposit some money in his name, her name. So right from that, I'm talking very old, that saving was taught to us, how we have to save money. Now, saving doesn't mean that we become miser, we don't spend anything, we only accumulate. Being an economic student, I always believe that money should be in circulation. The money is in circulation, then the nation develops. Now, if you have to talk about India, why India is not developing? It is developing, it is not developed even after 74, 76 years of independence. It's basically that we have hold on to our wealth. The maximum gold reserve is with Indian ladies. It is not in circulation. Now, if you let go that, I think it is one of the factors, which may lead India to develop. There are many other factors, but the main thing which I wanted to talk to you this evening is to enlighten us. Are we involving our kids in day-to-day, financial transaction in our school? It's a great challenge. We always put a question mark. Can we trust our kids with cash, with money? If we will they, land up in, losing it at the end of the day. So right from grade 2, we have introduced, though the Council for Indian School Certificate Examination, that is the board that the present school where I am at present, and we have another 3 schools in Bangalore, which is under the same group where I'm heading as the academic director for the schools, where we teach right from grade 2 financial literacy. The council says introduce it in 6th grade, but we have taken it to grade 3 onwards. We have introduced. What we do there is, first of all, we allow the child to play with paper currency. We introduce the paper currency. It's not the real currency, paper currency, where we teach them how to handle it. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, we teach them. It's an activity. Now, if you teach that on chalk and talk on the board, I don't think children will be really interested in learning it. But when we do it as activity, and we have different levels, what we do it in our school, once they are comfortable with handling the money, then we have in our maths lab set up shops where we have tiny, toy, where little children play with the steel pressure cooker, spoon, fork, all those items are there where we have, put a label on it with the price tag. So the teacher will give them a rate card, okay, and tell that, okay, this is 2,500 rupees, 500 rupees currency is given to them, 2,500. So 2 children are made to go and purchase. There's a list given. Same way, 2 children act as a shopkeeper there. Now here again the transaction, So what we are doing it at young age itself is we are trying to put in the knowledge of, transaction, trading, so that they start, understanding how to budget for their house or budget for an event. As they come to the higher grade, the prefects that we have, the student council members, we give them the responsibility. We have a portfolio called as finance secretary in our student council. So the finance secretary, along with the school captain and other members of the council, sit like how a parliament, the council of ministers sit. We have a room for them. They go there and sit and discuss about the budgeting of any event that comes up in our school. So if it is sports day, they budget it. If it is annual day, they budget, or any other events that we have. Now, the event which is coming up is the national level quiz. where we have more than 400 schools participating in it. So the for entire event, we allow the students to budget it. So what happens is they learn how to get into the financial literacy. They are more aware about where they have to save, where they have to spend, and they become very wise handling the money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The initially is understanding the language of the money. So we let them do all this. Even they run budget or pantry. It's a residential school of around 350 students in house. So they budget for the entire expenditure for the pantry. So they get to know, they put the menu. So what is needed for it? What is the provision needed? So the entire thing, the student council, they bring it to the coordinator, and the coordinator and the school captain and the finance secretary gives that budget every 15 days to the head of the institute, that is me, in my office. And then we have a discussion and we take a call, what can be included, what can be excluded. But what we are trying to do here is giving them the confidence that very soon they'll be in the real world and they have to handle. Now, if we are not going to teach our children how to handle, whether it's girl, boy, there's no gender difference. We have to make them financially, uh, strong. If they're not financially strong, I think it goes back to the old thought. हम काम करेंगे 30 साल और 40 साल के लिए हम सेव करेंगे, उसमें बीमारी भी होगा, सब कुछ होगा, and we have to do saving, and then they don't enjoy that 40 years what the retirement life and after the retirement. So we always say, the elders say, पैर उतना ही फैलाना जितना चादर है, नहीं तो ठंड लगेगा. So again, all this concept, it has been taught. That's old school thought. But the present thought is, how can we give the liberty to our kids and stand with them? And in our school, we do the cashless transaction. We don't handle finance at all. But the budgeting, everything, expenditure is being done by our students. So there is a clarity. They talk to the parents and say, okay, Papa, आपने इतना फीस भरा, और हमारा budget इतना था, expenditure इतना था. So there's a transparency between the parent, the child, and the school management. So we don't find any issues with collection of the fees. So the entire year's fees is already collected because they know this is. Now we took recently the entire school for a excursion, different places. One batch went to Rajasthan, one batch went to Punjab. Flying directly to Chandigarh and coming back from Delhi. So the entire budgeting, even booking Indigo Airlines was done by our students. So the confidence that we give to the students when they come to 10th, 11th, and 12th, and most of the students wanted to become entrepreneurs because most of the parents are planters, or they have their own business. So what I'm saying is, today, if you see, the mad rush towards NEET and JEE is reducing, and more of the students want to get into this entrepreneurship. And our school has already started relating, as you have asked me, can, what is it called, financial institution and local business. Our own, companies which are related with our schools, like Cafe Coffee Day is our, parent body, which was started by late Siddhartha. Malvika Hegde is the chairperson. Sarai is our resort, which is there. So we are sending students to these places right from grade 8, where they can start going and taking training there and build their career. And we also have leadership camps where we talk about these financial literacy, mainly to make them more economically strong. So these are certain things which I had, written. And above all, as elders, we should be a role model. If we are miser, like a miser, stingy, or spendthrift, we just spend lavishly. I think this is what the message which we send to our students. सर तो बहुत कहता है पर सर इस प्रकार से, मैडम बहुत बोलती है पर वो इस प्रकार की है. So I think we the school leader or the teachers have to be a role model. And last thing which I wanted to bring into your notice is, a school like ours would also like to reach out to the needy. So we put that into every child's heart. The money that is given to us is not only to take care of us, but it is also to take care of the others who is in needy. So these are certain things which I wanted to bring to you this evening onto discussion. I think the platform is open. If anyone has any queries or any question to ask with regard to this, can feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. I think one quote I'm going to take back with me from yours is money is a body language. I mean, it's a language, and if you don't understand it, you will be a economic slave.
Yeah.
I mean, very rightly put and very rightly said. And I am sure all the students of your school are so lucky that you are promoting it on a very impactful level. Right from the childhood, students are exposed to such economic insights and everything. And on this note, I would like to also understand from Miss Aparna, ma'am, that as schools and educators, we all are aware that financial education is also important and it is to be inculcated in schools. And in your opinion, how can schools effectively balance the promotion of innovation and the teaching of financial literacy in their educational programs?
Thank you for involving this interesting panel. I think what all of us realize as educator, even as part of the system of education, it's important to nurture financial knowledge, to empower children to the correct way. They may not be spending right now as once they're part of it, but being able to understand the repercussions of their own uh, spending and therefore investment, etc. As Sir has said, have been conducting exercises in my school, I- what is called the Money School program, you know, the National Center of Education. So middle school across
Ma'am,
class.
sorry, I think your voice is a little, we are missing out in between.
Can you hear me now? Is
Yeah,
that clearer?
ma'am. Yeah,
Is that
thank
clearer?
you. Yeah.
Yes, we run smart school program, teach children about, basics of financial like and familiarize things like bank statement, etc. Through the years, we pick up a lot. I think innovation is important. How do you integrate this into the educational program and curriculum through activity, storytelling? I'm from the younger right up to senior children part of what we call the invest and the market situation. I think that gives them exposure. As is also said, them in the budgeting different events when to sort of uh, plan the events themselves. That in itself is the difference. Well as once you weave the curriculum as a goal, ideal, what we've noticed, children are good at sort of each other. When we set these, learn from each and there are times when you come back and say, child explains it far better than I explain it to my child. So making it part of the curriculum has been effective. And teaching with children levels, asking in a budget, some activities we're conducting, breaking it down, explaining pros and cons. School in particular is a like much more. So, EP cell, the entrepreneurship. Children learn product, kids, creation of products, the branding goes with marketing that goes in. So they're thinking things, and that has helped them and understand strategy, business processes, and then we allow encourage our children to with business, whether it's through alumni, old students, it helped a lot because when they come and they share this in their research, it really makes it has so it's learning with the learning from. I think that has been used.
That was a very valuable insight from you. I think you have covered pretty much all the aspects, how an educator has to think for the welfare of the students. And thank you for that. And I would like to have a question with Miss Nikita Bhati, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
So, like as we are talking about innovation and financial literacy, and we even spoke about NEP, asking us to inculcate in schools for a holistic education. How do you see the future of education evolving in terms of promoting innovation and financial literacy as essential components for preparing the students for economical independence, ma'am? How do you see the future?
Yes. I think the future of education is evolving rapidly over time in multiple ways to promote innovation and financial literacy to better understand basic terms like receivables and payables, as well as the terms like Bitcoin, market indexes, as Forex, and forwards. Through education nowadays, the students are digitally equipped for learning about financial management and financial strategies. The syllabus content of the higher classes also provide ample sources for the students to assess the real world problems related to financial importance. The financial literacy programs are part of today's digital classrooms, which help the students to learn and get themselves updated regularly regarding the innovations in financial sectors. The project and case study based financial learnings help the student to become more aware about their futuristic financial plannings. Nowadays, even the schools are connecting their students toward the TV shows like Shark Tank, which provides a sufficient knowledge about the real financial sources of funds recently working in India. Through the basic and even the advanced financial understanding, it has created a curiosity amongst the student to become economically independent human capitals for the nation. The school is an effective source for developing entrepreneurship, experience based learning, and promoting financial literacy amongst the students. This leads to a more economically independent nation and more financially strong future generations. School provide basic financial education, inculcates financial responsibilities in their students, helps the students to understand the financial risk and possible methods for avoiding the uncertainties. The school also helps the students to become more skilled in their financial workings and trains them to build investors' confidence when they become entrepreneurs. The understanding of financial literacy not only helps them to become a more efficient knowledge and resource person for their employment, but also helps them to generate huge employment opportunities in the nation that ultimately boost our economy. This helps them to get better salaries or more profits for the businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable insights. So, my next question is to Miss Anju, ma'am. Anju, ma'am, are you with us? Or we can go ahead with Sanjay, sir, or Sarada, ma'am. Okay, I think it was a wonderful discussion with all the panelists that are present over here, and all the valuable insights that we have collected today. And I hope that all of the viewers also will take these insights and start to get into an impactful education for the future. I would like to express my gratitude to all the panelists over here for having such a discussion. And yes, Sandeep is over here.
Yeah, I think Anju ma'am is there. I'll just
I'll
ask her
Okay,
to
okay.
come back. Just
Yeah,
give me
no
one.
problem.
But you can still ask the questions that you had. You can, to all the wonderful panelists that are there still, and we can have
Oh, I
Anju
have
ma'am
an
back
ample
again.
amount of questions. We can just go ahead with that if that is
Please,
okay.
please. We have a lot of time. We have a lot of time to
Okay,
cover.
no issues. Then we can go ahead with all the other questions that I have. So I think we can go ahead with Aparna, ma'am. Yes. So, what is that one challenge you find in, as an educator? It is clear that we are discussing this topic. You're very much aligned with the holistic education in schools. But what challenge are you facing, ma'am, as as a decision maker that these things are not that are to be inculcated in your school in a full fledged way?
Well, my apologies for my. I think that. So, yeah. I think most, access internship for children sometimes it's difficult to, because they have different, and very often speak to them about innovative practices, or experiment with different avenues of, financial literacy. The knowledge, children have, or a perception to try or experiment with any specific kind of, financial education. Sometimes they have that easily. Like the fact that having a lot of our students, we have with several of our parents, local business. So children tend, reach out and other avenues. They're keen on work with certain because they have desires. Startup, children hesitate. So the orient needs to be a little different, and that's what we're working on. So orient our children to understand that financial education, or frequently bringing in any education, is something that requires patience. It requires a patient to continue to get and focus on your goal, to be able to skills required, analysis required in this. Is not whether it's innovation, it's understanding. It's not something that happens. So it needs to be in program, and that's what we are. And for that, we reach out, and that really helps. But it does help if you have business support. That makes a huge. So that's something we're working on, and I'm hopeful to have support from the neighborhood community.
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. We are also wishing and hoping that whatever good intentions you have to put into your educational institution would be very fruitful. In fact, we are all doing it for the next generation. Thank you so much for the response. And I would like to extend my question to John, sir.
Yes, Miss.
Sir, as we spoke before, we are very clear that, right from childhood, right from the very young age, the students in your school are equipped with financial knowledge in a very seamless manner. So, what suggestion you have for all the other educators and other educational institutions that they need to start doing to, achieve a similar goal of economic independence, sir? What are your suggestions?
The first thing is we have to train the staff, the faculty, number one. Number two is we should learn to trust our children. We talk so much on the platform, trusting each other, that this. But when it comes to reality, do we really do it? Is the question that we ask. So if we are able to do these two things, I think financial literacy is one thing which every school can introduce, and they will see the benefit of it. You'll get to know by the time they come to 8th standard or 6th standard. I'm talking of the middle school. The children start, spending money in a very wise way. They know where to invest the money. Like I see my kids. Last Saturday was our PTM for the entire school. It's a boarding school, so parents have to come from various parts of the country. They come, they meet the teachers. So we had kept the book fair. Book fair is where they can come and buy. So we send a invitation with a poster when we send for the invitation for the PTM itself, which is put in the calendar itself first. So invitation is sent in such a way that there is a book fair. So please come prepared. So they understand that they have to, even if they don't have money. The parent comes and they say we don't have money. We have a provision where we have interest money in child's name, which they can keep topping up. The minimum balance should be always 20,000, and if it is below that, they have to top up. So the child can go pick the book and give the name and the grade, and the person who's sitting there will sign the bill. It will go to the accounts department. So we'll know that this child has picked this money, this book for this. So what happens is, that's what I said, cashless. We don't handle the cash, because today the Prime Minister also wants that we should go cashless. So we try to put that here right in practice from in the student's life, and it's very clean. People think that you give the money to the child will misuse. When it comes to higher grade, they start smoking, drugs, and all those. It's all how you educate them right when they're small. When see middle school is a age where you start making them. Either we break them or make them. Any one thing will happen there. So if we are able to make them, I think when they come to the senior and they say higher secondary school, I don't think they will go anywhere near to it. Because they know the value of the money, the parent hard-earned money which is coming to them is to be used for wisely for a right purpose. So one is faculty development, because NEP says very clearly, that we have to train our faculty. When the management in our school is doing, we are having series of a training program where the management is investing a lot of money, getting people from all walks of life coming, doing 2-3 days continuous training, so that the teachers are also equipped with what they should go and speak to the child, how to handle it. Is more than teaching, it is learning which is happening in a school like ours. Because teaching, we teach somebody, it lasts only for that 3-4 months, exam over, they forget about it. But when it is a learning, see, that's what I said. I had a learning from Kendriya Vidyalaya, the old, the 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
There we had the Sanchayaka, where we were taught, even if it is 1 rupee or even 10 paisa, we had to drop it into that account. We have a passbook also. So we go put it up there. It comes in our passbook that 50 paisa, deposit that. So at the end of the academic year, we get some of money, that comes to us. So we were taught how to save money. So these are certain things which the every school can take it up and bring in entrepreneurs from other walk outside the school, where they can come talk to them. Startups, again, how did they start? Bring bankers, again coming and talking to them. I'll tell you, I've seen why I started these sort of things in lower grade is, it's because again, most of the things that most of these heads of institution introduce in the school. I'm saying most of the heads of something which they would have seen in life. So I saw this, when I was buying provision, one of the shops where a child, 10th standard, I spoke to that child. Later on, which grade you belong, you are studying. That's the name of the school, which I don't want to let out now. To I asked, what happened is he bought certain things and he didn't know how much to give. The shopkeeper said this much money. So he took out all the currency that he had and gave to the shopkeeper and said, "Na tagit bittu yenide kodbidi nanige." Means you take whatever is the amount and give me the balance. So when I asked him, which grade are you in? He's in 10th standard. So he doesn't know how to subtract how much he has to give the money and what should be the balance. So that day I realized, schools are they seriously thinking about introducing financial literacy. You see the plight of the child, he doesn't know. Maybe he's poor in maths, whatever it is. But if that was introduced in the lower grade, I don't think he would have done that in that shop. Giving the currency, whatever he had in his, like you give the entire purse to the shopkeeper and say, you take what is the amount that you want and give me the balance. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. So based on that, I thought I should introduce what is debit, what is credit, right in grade 2. They start there. We give them a performer when the cards. You see the cards which the children play. So I take those card and turn it into currency. I put some numbers on it. So they like to play. So there's a sheet that there are so many methods. How we can introduce this, which I do it in experiential learning when I go for training in various schools, where there are so many method which we can use, make maths interesting in class. Because by the time they come to 5th, 6th, most of the students start losing interest in maths. It's because it has not been introduced properly to them in the primary. So financial literacy is very important, and if it can start right in grade 1, 2, I think people may think that I'm a fool. talking about introducing it. I've introduced in schools, the previous organization, SCAT group of schools, and I've seen the result. So that's the reason as soon as I came here, I spoke to my team, I need it. So paper currency is used in grade 1. So they start getting, then, we educate them, we should not soil the note. You see, Indian currency is soiled, we write nonsense on it. We teach them, the importance of Indian currency. It's a, that currency that we hold promises something, it's a promissory note. We tell that child in grade 1 and 2 what I promise that I will not tell lie. Same way, this currency say that whoever goes with this currency will get the value of 1 rupee or 5 rupees or 10 rupees. You see how you correlate and teach them, they get to know the value of what it is. So certain things, when we give the paper currency also, we are not supposed to soil it. So what is soiling? You should not write on it. You should not, inappropriately fold it. There's a way to fold it, keep it in the purse. So all this is demonstrated in grade 1, 2. So the child knows how to handle the money, the paper currency. That's what I'm trying. Now it is all plastic currency or cashless. So it doesn't have much importance, but still. So these are certain things which I thought, as you asked me this question, I should, tell you.
Absolutely, sir. I mean, I agree with you, and it is sad that still a huge chunk of youngsters still don't know how to manage money. In fact, not even youngsters, adults, grown-ups also don't know how to manage their money.
Adults, they get a huge fat salary. They buy a house, they buy a car, and you see the way the
Money management.
come and tell that you can take it on installment, that, and within 5 or 6 months, that person loses a job and doesn't know what to do with it. That is what our
Absolutely.
old, our parents come back and पैर उतना ही फैला हो जितना चादर है, तो ठंड लगेगी. So
Hmm.
these are certain, see, all these, are very important, that we have to speak to our kids, introduce this very small when they are young, so that when they grow up, they become very, smart and strong in handling finance.
Absolutely, sir. 200% agree with you.
So
Sandeep,
before we move on, we have a question from the crowd. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we have a crowd questions. I'll quickly push that on. This gentleman says that, and this is, I believe, a parent that is asking. Now, since everything has gone online, and since kids don't eat their meals without the phone in their hands, so this gentleman has asked that how do you actually prevent, or educate the children that just scrolling something on the phone can actually result to a huge loss, because what we have also seen in few instances is people playing games, have their parents' credit cards attached on their particular mobile game or on mobile phones, or there is an application where now everybody, including the mobile phones to Google to Airtel to everybody, is having their own payment system. So how do you actually prevent their kids from this kind of spending, where just a click of a button, the student or the parent can lose a lot of money? Anybody from the audience, from the panel, can take this question.
Yeah, I think number one, the parents should be wise enough not to give such device to the kids who doesn't understand the importance of that what is stored in the phone. I think the parents should first be educated to put a password which is very strong. It cannot happen with the click of a button. Number one. Number two is, why should the child always have a mobile in the hand? Why? What is the need for it? I don't think there is a need for it. If these type of device can be given to the child and it can be, under supervision, I think, and teach them from lower age. That's what I'm trying to tell. Anything taught and caught in a lower age, I think the child understands the importance of every device which is given, even if it is, playing a game on the mobile. If you're going to teach them about time management, I don't think the child will sit with the mobile the entire day, not even having. You see, today the scenario is The family comes onto the dining table, everyone is holding a mobile, they're looking into the mobile and having their grub, the food. So what is the fellowship that you are having there? So I think the head of the family, whether it's a lady or the man, should put a rule there: when you're coming onto the dining table, please put off your mobile and whichever place it, and then come to the, like when you go for a meeting, you say mobile on silent mode, or it should not be carried. I put it very clear: anyone walking into my chamber, no mobile. You should hand it over at the front desk. So you should have your own rules. What is creating nuisance for you. Try to address it through rules. That is what, and it has to be taught when the child is very young, not when the child is 9th standard, 10th standard, when the child is ready to give you a back answer. So you have to educate the child from lower age, what importance of every device that is given to. And when it is money, yes, you have to be careful. You can't be so careless by just not even putting a password and giving the device to the child and allowing the child to play a game and lose it. So I think it's nothing but to educate the child at the right age. If anyone else has any other thought, I think they are free to.
Yeah. Aparna ma'am, if you're here, Dr. Nikita, if you're here, if you will care to add anything on this.
I think as we've all been saying, it's important to engage with the children really. When children are engaged in the part of campaigns or part of activities that are centering on these themes, it really helps them develop and acquire the skill sets required to deal with this subsequently in life. And that really is what all of us are trying to achieve, I think.
Absolutely.
Right. So I believe that is it. That was just one question from the crowd that we had. Uh, we are still waiting for a couple of speakers to join in, but unfortunately, the time is of the constraint. Uh, so thank you so much to all you wonderful speakers who've been here on this amazing session. I think today's session was one of the most interactive sessions, whether you're looking at YouTube or LinkedIn. We've got one of the most number of views on the channel, as well as comments from the uh, crowd work as well. So thank you so much for this amazing session, Ms. Sunayana, Dr. John, Dr. Anju, Mehrotra, for such a wonderful session. Hopefully we'll come back soon on the 27th. I think is the fourth episode of talking education with Bright Champs. And Bright Champs will soon be reaching out to all you wonderful speakers as well, to talk about more on skill development and how to, effectively inculcate them in your respective schools. If you want to reach out to, Bright Champs team on, we have the option available on the YouTube, on the LinkedIn, on the Facebook streams as well. If you have a question, if you want to reach out to them, being a school, you can reach out to them directly as well. Thank you so much for this amazing session. I think financial literacy is one of the most sought out factor, in today's time, and I think it's the need of the hour for schools to inculcate them, as a part of a curriculum as well. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Once again, this is me, Sandeep Gulati, founder of Universal Mentors Association, signing off from this amazing, amazing session. Thank you so much to all the
Thank
viewers
you.
and the panelists. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.